Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all about parenting, family relationships, child development, all over the world through the lens of self-government. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how parents unknowingly create child screen addictions. Screen addictions start earlier than many parents even think that they do. If you understand the developing brain, then it's clear to see that that developing brain is at a prime time for creating habits and addictions because there's so many synapses in the brain that are connecting, especially when the child is young. The developmental phase makes it so that the brain is actually unable to create other connections when it is giving all of its attention to one connection. If a person is doing screens all of the time, those other connections just stop forming, which is really dangerous for the child. So in this video, we're going to talk about things that you can be aware of so that you don't unknowingly develop screen addiction in your child, or so that you can help other people see a problem that they might not have noticed. Probably the most obvious thing that parents do to unknowingly create a screen addiction in their child is they use the screen as a babysitter. So mom or dad wants to make dinner, wants somebody to stay out of the way for just a minute, and so they turn a screen on. Or mom is talking to somebody on the phone, it's kind of an important call, so she turns a screen on. Or dad has an important project that he needs to do, so the screen goes on so that the child doesn't feel bored. So oftentimes we are trying to divert a child's attention away from something and we end up pointing it toward a screen. This is not a good idea. Another thing that parents do that they might not be thinking could create a screen addiction is use the screen as a subject changer. So when a child is having a tantrum or they don't want to do something that a parent wants them to do and they're having some sort of a tantrum or a fit, then the parents will oftentimes say, here, how about you watch this? Or hey, we can watch a show. You can't do this, but we can watch a show. And so then the child starts thinking, oh, well, that's the solution to everything. We just go and plug in. That's definitely not what the parent is probably going toward. They're probably just trying to appease the child, but in the end, it can be harmful. Now, you might not think of this one, but what about the parent's example? So if the parent is using screens all the time, even if it's for work or something useful, it looks like this is what you do with your life. It looks like this is what you need to prepare for, being on a screen all of the time. And so you are actually unknowingly giving the screens a stamp of approval just by being on your screen in front of your child, even if you are doing useful activities. Especially if you're just on YouTube or social media or something that's not very useful, that actually can really lead the child down the path that, oh, these things are toys, not tools. You may need to describe to your child the difference between a device being a tool and a device being a toy, but then you're going to have to stick to that and only use it as a tool. I would highly recommend that you use your device as an adult at a time when the child is not going to be there viewing it, and so that it doesn't get in the way or set the wrong example. Along those same lines, even if parents aren't using their devices, if all they can talk about is media with other people, maybe some video or movie or digital something, then it seems like that's what you need to do with your life in order to participate. The children absolutely want to participate, so if we set the example that all the conversation has to relate to the digital world, then we're setting them up for failure. Parents who don't do anything else with their free time besides just kind of sit around or laze around actually make it so that the child is going to want stimulation more. So there are many things that can be stimulating to a child, like a project, or you could read them a story. You can play games together, you can discuss, you can visit people, you can do exercises together, go out and see nature. All of these things are stimulating. They don't stimulate in the same way a screen does, but they do stimulate the child, and those things can even lead to bonding. Parents shouldn't leave the children to just find something to do with their time, because if the parent isn't going to initiate anything, the child is just going to search for whatever the most stimulating activity is, which oftentimes for them turns out to be something involving a device. If this video is interesting to you, click that subscribe button, then you'll be able to see more of them. This might be a no-brainer, but it's gotta be said. If the child has a screen in their bedroom, whether it's an iPad, an iPhone, a computer, a TV, those things are going to lead to increased use and use when you do not know that it's happening. In fact, with our sex culture and the increase in pedophilia and sex trafficking, it's just a danger, really, for a child to be on a device without someone in the same area. So be sure to take those types of precautions, and I would just really refrain from having a child have those types of devices at their disposal in their room. Along those same lines, let's be careful not to leave our children alone with screens a lot, especially in bigger homes where there are a lot of different rooms that might have digital devices or hiding places. We definitely don't want to have children having the opportunity to be in one area of the house without anybody else there so that they could be watching a screen. So maybe you've said, oh, we're not putting screens in somebody's room, but your child sees your phone and then ducks into a little corner, right? And nobody knows they're there. We don't want to leave our child alone with screens. Don't put your child in the car with a screen. Don't put your child in a certain room with a screen. You know, it just kind of makes sense. And if you've got TVs that can be accessed in your home very easily, you're probably going to want to put some locks on those so that your children can't just go there and look at them. As much as you think your child wouldn't be that kind of, have that kind of deviousness, sadly, once they start developing an addiction, that craving can be pretty strong and they'll start finding sneaky ways to get it fixed. This is something people might not be aware leads to a screen addiction, and that is having friends that aren't very interesting. So if your child has friends that only talk about things related to screens, such as video games or social media or apps or videos and movies or whatever, guess what that child, that peer, is leading your child to do? Obsess over screens. They will feel like they don't have anybody else to talk to if they can't talk about screens. So try to find friends that have parents with your same values so that you don't have to have the conversation revolve around screens, because that's really hard to combat when everybody who knows the child is only talking about the same thing. Another thing that can happen, and it's pretty innocent, probably should be obvious, but we don't always think about it, and that's the screens that are at friends' houses. So sometimes children will be like, oh, I want to go play with so-and-so, and what they really want to do is see so-and-so's screen. They're using another child in that friendship in order to get to more screen time. Sometimes they want to go to grandma and grandpa's house or aunt so-and-so's house for the very same reason, because maybe those adults like to indulge the child. That doesn't mean you have to tell grandma and grandpa they can't ever see a screen, but you do definitely want to tell people if you feel like your child is suffering from a screen addiction. One time I felt I needed to tell a neighbor, I think my son is struggling with a screen addiction, or at least a really strong craving, because I think he's using your son for his computer games. So if when he comes over he asks for a computer game, could you help me out by telling him no and making sure at the very least he checks with me? Because I would hate for him to start using people like that and becoming selfish. And she was like, oh, yeah. Because does she want her child to be used? No. She wants her child to have good friendships too. So sometimes just bringing other people into the loop can make it so that your child has less danger of developing a screen addiction. There is a key skill that you might want to teach your child which would really help them control the impulse to watch screens. And that skill is called accepting a no answer. So in my Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, I teach 4 basic skills for children as well as other skills that parents need in order to be self-governed in their parenting. But that skill, accepting a no answer, is huge, because if a person can tell themselves no and drop the subject, stay calm about it, that leads to future success and freedom throughout their entire lives. So think of how that would work with a screen addiction or a craving. If a person gets a craving for a screen and it's not the time, they can say, nope, I can't watch it right now and I need to drop the subject, because there are 4 steps to accepting a no answer. You look at the situation or the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or disagree appropriately, meaning, okay, this is what I'm experiencing right now. If you're doing it with yourself, if you're having this interaction with yourself, And then finally, you drop the subject. So you decide not to think about it anymore. Now that's really powerful for a person who might be struggling with an addiction or at least a very intense craving. Teaching your children how to accept no answers might just be the track to freedom. There are other skills though that you can teach your children as well. In fact, in order to learn self-government over all things, not just screen addictions, you're probably going to want some more pieces to the puzzle. Lucky for you, that's what this channel is all about. Hopefully you subscribed, and hopefully you'll go to the next video. The next video that I have for you is a full class all about these skills and principles related to self-government, and it is called The Not So Known Secret to Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video now.